All right, good morning, guys. So in this video, I'm going to cover a lot of subscriber stock suggestions or stock picks. I got a lot of comments of stocks that people want me to cover. So what I'm going to do is just make this video about those stocks. I do appreciate you guys following along, and so I'll run through and do my basic analysis on some of these stocks. Before we get started here in this morning video, triple Qs, here's resistance. Again, I marked it out on my hourly chart on TradingView. It's at this 280.40, and this is just my trading platform. I just mark it out so I know how this stock is performing against resistance on the 1 minute. And so this is the 1 minute. We're just trading, watching this thing to see if it can break above or if it rejects. Okay, Roku. And a lot of these are stocks that I don't necessarily look at all the time, so I don't have them fully charted up. So we're going to go ahead and look at this here. Okay, here's Roku. Daily chart here, uptrend, kind of from the March lows. Basically, you have an uptrend right there. And then if you zoom in on the hourly chart, you can see we have kind of this minor uptrend right here we've been making over the last couple days. I don't see any real... I mean, there's slight negative divergence, but it could get taken out. You can see here on the hourly, we've got just a very slight negative divergence, and it's getting extended here. So any higher today or tomorrow will probably take out this negative divergence that's intact on the hourly, and then same with the daily. You can see here on this daily. We've got slight, let's look here. Yeah, there's no negative divergence there on the daily. So no negative divergence, still in an uptrend, no doji candles or anything. So in general, I don't see anything bearish. I think it looks like it's just going to continue the uptrend. Next up, SPCE, Virgin Galactic Holdings. Just to bring us back to triple Qs, you can see here, you can see how this trend line right here, 280.40, 280.30, right in that area, continues to act as resistance. You can see they popped it up. Anytime you're up above that and you're just chopping around, that's the area where, it's most likely going to reject. Usually they don't just stop right at that trend line. They'll pop it a little bit, and then, you can see the 1 minute they're coming in and slamming it down again. So still holding pretty strong as resistance. Not a lot of history on this one, so it's not the easiest to chart, but possible symmetrical triangle, and this thing will need to break one way or the other. So these are kind of indecision patterns. It can break up or down. So I don't necessarily know. Again, I don't have a lot of data points, so the less data that you have, the less reactions you have, the less reliable of technical analysis. Just keep that in mind. On the hourly chart here, slight negative divergence. If it turns down if it turns down soon, you'll have the negative divergence right there. It's starting to turn down on the RSI a little bit, and you can see we made a high here. We made a higher high right there on lower momentum. So slight negative divergence and potentially at resistance with this symmetrical triangle. So again, the triangle is not my favorite. On the bottom, I've got 3 reactions, 1, 2, 3. That's good, but on the top, I really only have 2, a cluster here and a cluster here. So if we get a reaction here and it rejects, then that'll set in the third, and that will be a confirmation of this triangle. Again, I don't know which way it's going to break. ARKF. Again, I don't even know what these stocks are, but it really doesn't matter. Uptrend line here since the March lows, broke trend right here, doing a back test is what it looks like. So we're below trend, but looks like it's running up, trying to do a back test. So this could obviously ramp way higher and hit that back test. Below trend though. No negative divergence though on the on the daily. Now if it continues to run higher and does that back test, possible negative divergence if it runs a little higher and the momentum fades and then it turns down. So watch for that. So SQ I already had charted. And I've had this trend line right here. So if I just extend this out, looks like we are coming in for a back test of the broken trend. You can see here, clean negative divergence is intact right there. So we've been making higher highs on less and less momentum. So this one in general looks bearish to me, but it wants to do it looks like it's running up for a back test. So maybe a little bit higher to do that full back test up around 190, around 200, somewhere maybe right around there. Another 10% or so higher it might want to go, and then it'll roll over. But momentum right now is, we're at the resistance line of this momentum right here, and we have negative divergence. So again, what I would look for on this one is some sort of reversal candle. You can see here on the hourly, we've just been kind of walking up this minor trend line. So some sort of break of this and a reversal candle probably is going to do this one, set this one in motion to the downside. I've covered this one a lot lately. Sun run, negative divergence right there. Nice clean negative divergence. We have a kind of the primary uptrend line right here, so we're well above that. It has not been broken. And then on the hourly, we have this minor trend line that just was broken. So we have negative divergence, minor trend line was broken. I think we're coming in for a test of this primary uptrend line down around $50 or $55. I don't know when it will actually get there is the thing, but 50, 55, maybe $60. Somewhere right in there. And then at that point, it should hold, but you watch for the break of that primary trend line. CrowdStrike, CRWD. So I've got this uptrend line that it's been in. Looks like it had a false breakdown right here, or a bear trap. That's pretty similar to what Apple had. So the chart looks pretty similar. And recently we've just been kind of tagging this trend line and walking up it. I don't see any negative divergence here. You can see we're making lower lows in the momentum, such as that. But price hasn't made a new higher high either. So it's not diverging. Price is making, lower prices and lower momentum. So no divergence really. I mean, there's a little bit of divergence, that's negative divergence possibly starting right here if we turn down right now, but it's not that, it's not a very strong divergence. Let's just put it that way. So in general, I don't see anything bearish, anything too bearish on this one. In an uptrend, a break of trend would change the story, but until then, it's in an uptrend. LVGO here, looking at the daily. So here's what I see. This one, you have an uptrend. We broke the uptrend. It's just treading sideways. This one looks potentially good for a short if you get a little bit of a higher price. That would be a divergent high. You can see here on the RSI here, we're kind of just extending this this potential divergence. We haven't made a higher price right now, so the price has not been diverging from momentum. Momentum is moving down, and price really from this high right here has also been moving down. If this thing can just pop barely above this 150 level, let's say it gets a little pop above 150, maybe even comes in and does some sort of a back test on this trend line. This thing's pretty steep, so I don't know if it'll do a full back test, but a pop above 150 would actually set, if it happens soon, would create, a divergent high. What you'd want to see is a pop above 150 and then some sort of a reversal candle. And that would be your signal that's a divergent high, basically. Beyond, so this one I've watched in the past. Here's what I got on Beyond. We got this gap that happened back here, and it came back. We broke below. It came back up and held as resistance, broke below, and now it's been holding as support. So that level right there, this kind of horizontal level, 125.12, I think is the level of kind of the major level of support. There's not a lot of history on this thing, so that's what I see as kind of that major level of support there. If I go to the hourly, and then again on the daily, no negative divergence right now on the daily, so nothing that is necessarily alarming. And, you know, you've got this kind of uptrend right here on the hourly. And it's continuing to move higher. So I don't see anything bearish at the moment. I think a break of that 125 level, which is down there a ways, 33%, would be bearish. But until then, yeah, I just don't really see much in the way of resistance right now on this thing, and there's just not a lot of history. So OSTK, this one I actually look at pretty often. So here's what I got on OSTK. Resistance 85.30, support 63.70. You can see we created that support line right back here, came back down, tagged it there, and we've just been bouncing between resistance and support. So we're heading up to, right now we're heading up to the resistance. If it pops straight up to this resistance level anytime soon, then on the hourly you'll have negative divergence right there, maybe a slight pop above it. And that's really it for that one. It's just there was a downtrend, or there was an uptrend right about here. It's right about there. Let's look at the hourly just to double check on that one. Yeah, it was right about there. It broke, and when it broke there, did a back test, and then rolled over. So trend is broken. The major uptrend is broken, and now we're just chopping between these two resistance levels. INTC, it's funny, I've looked at this one for a while as well. So this one, this goes back to 2009, this chart, and you can see here we have here's the lows, and we've been in this price channel. This is the price channel for the last decade bull market essentially. And as I zoom in on INTC, you can see we hit the top of the price channel, came back down, jumped up, and then this big gap down on earnings miss, I believe. Just really brought us right down to the bottom of the price channel. We've just been kind of grinding around, consolidating down there. So in general, at the bottom of the price channel, near support, and until that goes, it's an upward price channel. So I see support sitting around, it's around this 50, as of right now, about 50, 40, and it's just ascending. So whenever you tag that trend line is near support, but this is near support. Just to give you guys a follow-up on the triple Qs, you can see here clearly, when we were rejected right there, a little bit of flagging action, and now we're continuing to the downside. So again, 280.40 is holding as resistance. Watch for that one to continue to hold. A break above that and a nice solid close above it would be bullish. Until then, it's holding as resistance. Bank of America, BAC. So this is what the banks look like to me. It looks like we had this symmetrical triangle building in the banks, and it broke to the downside. You see the break came in the form of a gap down, so it gapped and then sold off for 3 consecutive days. Looks like it's coming in for some sort of a back test or to fill the gap right here at 25 bucks, about 25.10. Well, about 10 cents up from where we're at right now, or could come in and do a full gap or a full back test of the broken trend line around 26 bucks. But again, it looks like this broke to the downside. Now, if this can recover and above 20, as of right now, 26 bucks, then this price action right here is going to be a bear trap. So watch for that. As of right now, it broke to the downside, so it's bearish, and that's how I'm playing that one and looking at it. All right, that's all I got for this video. I'll put out another video mid-market or end of the day video depending on how the market continues to trade. Again, all the analysis of these stocks in this video are just my opinion. It's a very quick analysis on some of these. So I just did a really high level look at some of these stocks and tried to find what trend lines are and what technical posture I can see that the chart is giving me as of right now. So again, just everything in here is my opinion. So I'm going to wrap up. Thanks.